Have you ever wondered why silence feels the loudest when you are alone, in the middle of the night, when everyone else seems to belong somewhere? That silence can press against your chest like an invisible weight. It whispers questions you don't want to hear, doubts you don't want to face. Why am I still single? Am I missing something everyone else has already found? These thoughts strike harder because they happen when nobody else is watching, when the world is quiet, and you are left with nothing but yourself. And yet, within this very silence lies a truth most people never discover. It is the place where your greatest strength is built. Being single is often misunderstood. People assume it means being incomplete, as if your value depends on who stands next to you. They look at couples and think that's the finish line of happiness, while those standing alone must still be waiting to start the race. But deep down, you know that's not the full picture. There are moments when you feel overlooked, unseen, almost invisible in a world that glorifies togetherness. The struggle isn't always about not having someone. It's about carrying the invisible label society places on you, the suggestion that something is missing. And yet, what if that very label hides your hidden power? The truth is that silence, as uncomfortable as it feels, is not your enemy. It is your training ground. Every quiet moment that stings with loneliness is also a moment shaping resilience inside you. Every unanswered question is a spark pushing you to look deeper within yourself. While others may depend on constant company to feel secure, you are learning to stand unshaken. That is strength disguised as struggle. The silence that makes you ache is also sharpening your focus, clarifying your heart, and preparing you for something greater than you can see right now. So why should you keep listening? Why should you lean in and stay with this message? Because the hard truth about single people is not that they are lacking, but that they are becoming. Singlehood is not emptiness. It is transformation. It is the foundation where courage, self-worth, and unbreakable confidence are built. And once you see that clearly, the loneliness loses its grip. You will realize you are not waiting for life to begin. You are already living, already growing, already shaping the person who will be unstoppable. Stay with this journey, because by the end, you will no longer see yourself as alone. You will see yourself as powerful. You will understand why this stage of your life, no matter how heavy it feels, is not holding you back. It is setting you free. And once that shift happens, you will never look at your single days the same way again. Can cut deeper than people realize. It is spoken casually, but it carries the weight of judgment, expectation, and comparison. Each time you hear it, a part of you wonders if they are right, if something must be wrong with you for standing alone. That question plants doubt, and doubt grows quickly when it is watered by society's obsession with relationships as the ultimate proof of worth. Suddenly, it feels like you are racing against time, running toward an invisible finish line that everyone else seems closer to crossing. But here is the truth hidden behind that pressure. Expectations are not chains unless you allow them to bind you. The world loves to put people into boxes, to measure their value by timelines and milestones that are not universal but manufactured. When you accept those measurements as your own, you begin to shrink yourself to fit into their narrow definition of success. Yet freedom comes the moment you realize that life is not a checklist. It is not a calendar where love must arrive by a certain date. It is not a rule book where your worth decreases if someone is not standing by your side. Freedom is built the moment you decide that your path is yours to define. Every expectation thrown at you is actually a mirror. It reflects whether you live for their approval or for your own truth. When people ask why you are single, they reveal more about their fear of standing alone than about your reality. They project their discomfort onto you because it is easier to question your life than to face the silence in their own. When you see it this way, the pressure transforms into clarity. You are not late. You are not behind. You are simply walking at your own pace, and that pace is exactly where you are meant to be. This stage is not about proving anyone wrong. It is about proving to yourself that you can live without needing external validation. The more you try to meet the world's timeline, the more you lose yourself. But when you break away from their script, you discover something unshakable: peace. Peace in knowing you do not have to rush. Peace in realizing your worth has never been in question. Peace in understanding that love built on pressure is not love at all. It is fear disguised as connection. The hard truth is that expectations will always exist, but they do not have to define you. You can choose to see them as noise, background static that fades the moment you focus on your own voice. And when you begin to listen to that voice, you find strength, clarity, and courage waiting to guide you. That is where real freedom begins, and that is when singlehood transforms from a burden into a powerful choice. Solitude is often painted as emptiness, yet it is the very place where your true self begins to rise. When you are alone, stripped of distraction and noise, you face the mirror of who you are without the influence of anyone else. That moment feels heavy at first because it forces you to confront both your fears and your potential. But within that space lies something powerful, the ability to create yourself, not as the world defines you, but as you decide to become. Solitude, when embraced, is not weakness. It is strength in its purest form, a quiet force that builds resilience, clarity, and vision. Think about how many people cannot stand being alone, how they rush from one connection to another just to avoid silence. Their constant need for validation hides a deep emptiness, while your solitude offers you the chance to fill yourself from within. The stillness that others fear is the soil where your creativity and wisdom take root. It is in those quiet hours when ideas surface, when clarity sharpens, when you can hear the voice that gets drowned out by the noise of the crowd. What feels like isolation is, in truth, the workshop of transformation. Every moment you spend in solitude teaches you self-reliance. It shows you that you are capable of carrying your own weight, making your own decisions, and finding peace without leaning on another person's presence. This is not loneliness, this is training for the challenges life will bring, training for the storms that require an unshaken spirit, training for the love that will one day meet you at your highest, not at your lowest. When you learn to master solitude, you discover a level of strength that cannot be taken away because it does not depend on anyone else. The hidden gift of solitude is freedom. Freedom to explore who you truly are. Freedom to ask yourself what you want, what you need, and what kind of life you dream of building. Without outside pressure, you have the space to listen to your own heartbeat and align with your deepest values. That freedom is priceless because it protects you from losing yourself in the wrong connections. It guards you from settling for less than you deserve. It positions you to recognize authentic love when it finally appears, not because you need it, but because you choose it. The hard truth about solitude is that it is not an absence of something. It is the presence of everything you need to grow. It is not punishment, it is preparation. It is the stage where you rise above fear, where you sharpen your mind, where you nurture your soul. And when you learn to see solitude for what it truly is, you realize you are never really alone. You are simply becoming stronger, wiser, and more unstoppable than ever before. When you look around and see people holding hands, posting perfect pictures, or celebrating milestones that you have not reached, it can feel like you are standing on the outside of life. That feeling of missing out grows louder every time you scroll through a feed filled with smiling faces. It whispers that you are behind, that you are missing something essential, that happiness belongs to everyone else but you. This is the shadow of comparison, the trap of believing that your value is measured by the presence of another person. Yet the truth is far different. What you think you are missing is not love itself, but the illusion of it created by what you see. Comparison is a thief. It steals your peace by making you chase a standard that was never meant for you. Social images do not show the arguments behind the smiles, the struggles behind the trips, or the emptiness hidden behind the posed perfection. What you are comparing yourself to is not reality. It is a projection. And when you build your self-worth on a projection, you set yourself up for endless dissatisfaction. The fear of missing out blinds you to what you actually have, to the opportunities and blessings that exist right now in your single season. You are not missing out. You are being given something precious, the chance to focus on yourself without distraction. While others are consumed by maintaining appearances, you have the space to grow into someone unshakable. While others bend themselves to fit into relationships not meant for them, you have the freedom to stand tall in your authenticity. The moment you shift your focus from what you lack to what you can create, FOMO loses its grip. You begin to see that your path is not broken. It is simply different. And different is not wrong. It is powerful. The truth is that fulfillment has never depended on a relationship. It depends on alignment. Alignment with your values, your purpose, and your deepest truths. You can be surrounded by people and still feel empty, or you can stand alone and feel complete because you have found peace within yourself. The fear of missing out dissolves when you realize you are not waiting for happiness. It is already available to you in the choices you make today. Every time you feel the sting of comparison, let it be a reminder to look inward, not outward. The happiness you admire in others is not proof that you are behind. It is proof that joy is possible for anyone, including you. Let their smiles inspire you, not wound you. Let their milestones remind you that life unfolds in seasons, and your season is no less valuable. When you stop chasing what looks perfect on the outside, you finally open your heart to what is real, and that shift turns fear into freedom, leaving you empowered to live your life fully, boldly, and unapologetically. When you have lived single long enough, self-doubt can begin to quietly erode your sense of worth. Questions surface that sting in the silence. Am I not good enough? Am I not worthy of being chosen? Am I lacking something others easily possess? These thoughts are dangerous because they do not arrive as loud accusations, but as subtle whispers that repeat until you start believing them. The longer you allow those whispers to echo, the more you risk building your identity on a foundation of insecurity. Yet beneath that fragile layer of doubt lies the truth waiting to be reclaimed. Your worth was never dependent on anyone's approval, and it will never be defined by another person's decision to stay or to leave. The moment you realize that external validation is temporary, you begin to understand why so many people feel empty even in relationships. Relying on someone else to make you feel valuable is like trying to fill a cup with water that always leaks. It works for a moment, but soon the emptiness returns. Real confidence is not found in being chosen. It is found in choosing yourself. It is found in recognizing your own strengths, embracing your imperfections, and knowing that your value is not negotiable. Being single offers you the unique opportunity to rebuild that foundation without interference. Every achievement, every step of growth, every small victory you claim on your own becomes proof that you are capable, resilient, and complete. You are not waiting for someone else to tell you that you matter. You are reminding yourself every day through the way you show up, the way you grow, and the way you refuse to settle for less than what you deserve. That process may feel lonely at times, but it is the kind of loneliness that heals rather than harms. Your self-worth is not a prize to be handed out by another person. It is a truth you carry simply because you exist. You do not have to earn it, prove it, or beg for it. You only have to recognize it. And when you do, the energy around you shifts. You stop attracting relationships built on desperation, and you begin to align with connections built on mutual respect. You stop chasing those who overlook you, and you start radiating the kind of confidence that makes others respect you without explanation. The hard truth is that if you do not believe in your worth, no relationship will ever fix that wound. But when you build your identity from the inside out, you become untouchable. The world may question you, people may doubt you, but you will walk with a strength that cannot be shaken. And that strength, born in your single season, becomes the foundation of every dream you will ever bring to life. Loneliness is often seen as an enemy, but in truth, it is a signal. It is your mind and heart pointing you toward the deeper parts of yourself that have been ignored. When you feel the ache of being alone, it is not proof that something is wrong with you. It is proof that something within you is calling out for attention, for growth, for purpose. Loneliness can feel heavy, but it is not a punishment. It is an invitation to turn inward, to ask yourself what you're made for, and to begin building a life that fills you from the inside out. When you stop resisting loneliness and start listening to it, you discover that it is energy waiting to be redirected. Instead of letting it crush you, you can let it shape you. The same force that makes you feel empty can be transformed into the fuel that drives you to create, to explore, to learn, to build. Many of the most powerful transformations are born not in crowded rooms, but in quiet spaces where one person finally decides to channel their pain into purpose. That same decision is available to you. Your single season is not just about waiting for someone to arrive. It is about planting seeds that will grow into something far bigger than you imagined. Every hour you spend developing a skill, every moment you invest in your health, every ounce of energy you pour into a passion, you are building a foundation that will outlast loneliness. Purpose has the power to replace emptiness with direction. It turns the question, why am I alone, into what can I create with this time I have been given? And once that question takes root, your perspective changes completely. The truth is that loneliness loses its grip the moment you give your life meaning beyond relationships. Love can enrich your life, but it should never be the only reason you feel alive. When you find a mission, a vision, or even a simple passion that lights you up, you discover that your days carry weight regardless of who is or isn't standing beside you. You stop feeling like you are waiting for something to begin, because your life is already full of purpose that drives you forward. You are not defined by who texts you, who chooses you, or who validates you. You are defined by what you do with the time you have, the impact you create, and the strength you carry. Loneliness, when embraced, becomes the very tool that sharpens you into the person you were always meant to be. And when you learn to use it instead of fear it, you no longer see yourself as incomplete. You see yourself as powerful, purposeful, and unstoppable. The greatest test of singlehood is courage. The courage to stand apart when the world pushes you to conform. It takes little bravery to follow the crowd, to accept any hand just to silence the questions, to settle for something less than what your soul deserves. But it takes immense strength to say no, to walk away, to choose your own peace over shallow approval. This is the kind of courage that builds unshakable character, the kind that transforms your single season into a period of empowerment instead of weakness. Choosing yourself when it feels easier to compromise is not loneliness. It is strength wearing its true face. Every time you refuse to settle, you prove to yourself that your standards matter. You affirm that your heart is not cheap, that your love is not something to be handed out for the sake of convenience. This choice, though painful in the moment, is an act of self-respect. And self-respect is the foundation of every lasting connection you will ever have. When you protect your dignity now, you build the strength to demand authenticity later. You teach others how to treat you by the way you treat yourself. And when you hold your standards high, you call forward only those who can rise to meet them. It is easy to let fear drive decisions. Fear whispers that being alone is worse than being in the wrong relationship. Fear tells you that time is running out, that you must grasp whatever is available before it slips away. But fear is a liar, and if you listen to it, you will trade your peace for pain disguised as companionship. Courage silences that lie. Courage tells you that waiting is not weakness, that standing alone is not failure, that preserving your heart is a victory even when no one claps for it. The courage to stand apart is not just about relationships, it is about life. It is the power to hold your ground in every area, to refuse shortcuts, to walk your own path even when it feels lonely. It is the same courage that will later allow you to build a career you love, friendships that uplift you, and a future that reflects your deepest values. It is not built overnight, but every decision you make to choose integrity over desperation strengthens it. The hard truth is that courage cannot be borrowed, and it cannot be given. It is forged in the moments you decide to trust yourself more than you trust the crowd. It is built when you walk away from what does not honor you. It is proven when you realize that being single is not a weakness to hide, but a choice to honor. And once you stand in that truth, you carry a power that no judgment, no pressure, and no fear can ever take away. One of the most overlooked blessings of being single is the gift of time. Time is the currency of life, yet most people spend it carelessly, giving it away to situations and people that drain them. When you are single, you are not tied to constant compromise, not bound by the demands of another person's expectations. You hold in your hands a freedom many do not realize they have lost. This freedom is not empty. It is the space where you can design your future, the space where you can invest in yourself so deeply that when love does come, it meets a version of you that is whole, confident, and unstoppable. Time spent in this season is not wasted time. It is a season of preparation, a rare chance to pour into your health, your dreams, your knowledge, and your purpose without distraction. Every hour you dedicate to learning, building, and growing now compounds into strength for the years ahead. While others may be consumed with keeping up appearances or clinging to relationships that stunt their growth, you have the opportunity to expand, to create, to elevate yourself into the person you were always meant to be. This is the kind of investment that pays off for a lifetime. When you see your singlehood as a burden, you waste this precious gift by wishing it away. But when you see it as an opportunity, you transform every moment into progress. Time is the one resource that never returns. Once it is gone, it cannot be reclaimed. That is why your single season is not a pause in your story. It is a chapter overflowing with possibility. You are not waiting for your life to start. It has already started, and the way you use your time now will determine how powerful the next chapters become. This freedom is not only about building for yourself, it is also about learning who you are without distraction. Time alone forces you to answer questions that others spend a lifetime avoiding. What do I truly want? What makes me feel alive? What kind of life do I want to create? Without rushing to fit someone else's script, you have the power to write your own. That clarity becomes the anchor of your future. It ensures that when love comes, it is not out of desperation, but out of alignment, not because you need someone to fill your time, but because you have already filled it with meaning. The hard truth is that time is either spent or wasted. You can use this season to complain, or you can use it to grow. You can see it as an empty gap, or you can see it as a sacred gift. The choice is yours, and the results will follow. When you decide to honor the time you have now, you are not just preparing for love, you are preparing for greatness. Discipline is the bridge between the person you are and the person you are capable of becoming. Without discipline, dreams remain only fantasies, and intentions never transform into achievements. When you are single, discipline becomes your greatest ally, because no one else is there to push you. No one else is there to hold you accountable. It is in this solitude that you learn the true strength of your willpower. You discover whether your promises to yourself are strong enough to carry you through the moments when motivation fades and only commitment remains. Every goal you set requires consistency, and consistency demands discipline. Waking up early when no one is watching, studying when no one is reminding you, working on your health when no one is cheering for you. These are the silent victories that shape you into someone unshakable. The world may never applaud these small efforts, but they build a foundation so powerful that no setback, no disappointment, no rejection can tear it down. Discipline gives you control over your future. It separates those who talk about change from those who embody it. When you master discipline in your single season, you build habits that will stay with you for life. Relationships may come and go, circumstances may rise and fall, but the strength of your self-control remains. It is not about being perfect. It is about refusing to let comfort dictate your path. Comfort whispers lies that you can rest now, delay now, postpone growth for tomorrow. Discipline silences that voice and reminds you that tomorrow is not promised, that growth is a decision made today, and that every sacrifice brings you closer to the life you desire. The beauty of discipline is that it compounds. What starts as a small decision to be consistent in one area spills into every other area of your life. The same strength you use to control your habits becomes a strength you use to control your emotions, your mindset, and your reactions to adversity. Instead of being a victim to circumstance, you become the architect of your life. You stop waiting for opportunities to appear, you start creating them. Discipline is not punishment, it is freedom. It frees you from the chains of laziness, from the regret of wasted time, from the weight of unfulfilled potential. It gives you the authority to say no to distractions and yes to your higher calling. Every moment of self-control is a declaration that you refuse to be ordinary, that you are willing to rise above excuses, that you are choosing the harder path because it leads to greatness. Your single season is the perfect training ground for discipline. If you can master yourself now, you will never be mastered by the world. If you can control your actions in silence, you will command respect in the spotlight. Discipline is where transformation begins, and transformation is where destiny is fulfilled. Greatness is not found in extraordinary moments. It is forged in the repetition of ordinary actions done with unwavering commitment. The person who refuses to quit when the excitement fades, the one who continues to show up even when no one is applauding, is the one who rises above the rest. The single season is where this mindset is built, because here you are forced to face yourself without distractions, without validation, and without shortcuts. You come face to face with the raw truth of who you are and who you are willing to become. Every excuse you allow steals a piece of your future, but every act of discipline deposits strength into your destiny. The world will always offer you reasons to delay, but the deeper you dig into your purpose, the less attractive excuses become. Comfort loses its grip when you realize the cost of staying the same is far greater than the effort required to grow. Discipline sharpens you like a blade, carving away weakness, cutting through procrastination, and shaping you into someone who cannot be broken. It is not enough to want more from life, you must demand more from yourself. Desire without discipline is wasted energy, but when paired with consistent action, it becomes unstoppable power. You must push yourself beyond the point where your mind says it is enough, because true growth lives in that place where comfort ends and resilience begins. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, you strengthen not only your body and mind, but your identity. You no longer see yourself as someone who tries, you begin to see yourself as someone who follows through. There will be days when the weight feels unbearable, when the path seems too long, when the temptation to give in whispers louder than your will to continue. It is in those exact moments that your destiny is decided. Do you bow to weakness, or do you rise with relentless strength? Discipline demands that you rise, even when it hurts, even when it costs, even when it feels like no one cares. Because one day, all those unseen efforts will collide with opportunity, and you will be ready when others are not. The secret is to stop negotiating with yourself. Stop entertaining the thought that you can take it easy and still achieve extraordinary results. Stop convincing yourself that you will start tomorrow, because tomorrow is not guaranteed. All you truly own is this moment, and what you do with it defines everything that follows. Discipline is not a one-time decision. It is a daily choice, repeated until it becomes who you are. When you master discipline, you no longer chase motivation because you are guided by something stronger, identity. You no longer ask if you feel like it, you simply do it because it is who you are. And when discipline becomes your nature, no obstacle can stop you, no setback can hold you, and no fear can define you. You become unstoppable.